This video contains heavy spoilers for Chainsaw Man. If you haven't read the series yet, I strongly suggest that you click away from this video and come back after you have. If you don't care about spoilers, well, stick around for what I'm about to say. With My Hero Academia catched up on and Attack on Titan coming to a close, I decided what better time to read Chainsaw Man. And upon finishing its 97 chapter run, I see why people love this manga. Fujimoto Tatsuki is nothing short of a very talented man in terms of not only storytelling but artistry as well. Each panel of this manga is drawn beautifully and has so much story to tell. The isolation when Denji asks if Makima is a bad person, the claustrophobia of being inside a dumpster. Fujimoto-san has not only mastered the art of framing his manga panels but conveying emotion and feeling that no form of dialogue could ever. Emotion that Chainsaw Man has evoked from me is nothing short of amazing. I found myself on the edge of my seat one time and then found my eyes welling up in tears the next. Finishing Attack on Titan and then jumping onto Chainsaw Man allowed me to see certain similarities with the two series. The idea of freedom, being a slave to love and being able to break those chains were very well executed in both these masterful series. There's so much to love in Chainsaw Man. Our four main characters all contrast so very differently from one another, Denji being a very carefree soul with simple goals in life, who learns to be more serious and starts appreciating his humanity and the direction that his life is going. Aki, a serious by-the-books personality with a soft spot for people in his life who learns to appreciate Denji and power, going as far as to giving up his dreams so that they may be safe. Power, a selfish fiend who has a hatred for humans, always running away from battle, learning to love and appreciate the friends she's made in Denji and Aki, even risking her life for Denji. And last but certainly not least, Makima, a cold and calculated manipulative woman who serves as the series' main antagonist, who albeit has a good goal, but went about it in a very terrible way. These four make up the brunt of the series, and they are characters that we follow throughout, and boy are they a colorful cast of characters. The way the story is able to play on the emotion of its readers is nothing short of amazing. We, the readers, fell in love with Denji and Pochita instantly from the first chapter, and seeing Denji being hurt and manipulated by the naive love he's formed with Makima and later Reze not only makes us sympathize for Denji even more, but despise these characters. And that's where the foreshadowing comes into play. I don't think I'm alone with saying that Chainsaw Man has mastered the art of foreshadowing, and the pacing in which things are revealed. I suppose that's due to the fact that the series, albeit the first half of the series, is rather short, only being 97 chapters. But still, those 97 chapters are paced beautifully. From Denji asking if Makima's a bad person all the way in chapter 3, his willingness to befriend devils eventually leading him to become best of friends with one and arguably lovers. And don't get me started on the constant comparing of Denji to a dog, given the fact that Pochita was a dog and, well, due to his dog-like loyalty to Makima. Even down to something as comical as in chapter 52 when Denji is sad over the loss of Reze, having the shop owner remark that the perfect girl will come into his life eventually, and then power pops up. And as we see, these two become very close in later chapters. And don't get me started on the looming mystery of the door that Denji constantly sees in his dreams, and the warning to never open it. Another thing that I love about this series is it isn't shy with its callbacks, and each one of them are appropriately placed in the story. Our story starts with Denji and Pochita forming a contract with each other that has a scene of the two of them in a dumpster hugging each other, and it arguably ends with Denji making a path with power in the exact same situation. Just going full circle, the story starts with someone he loves and it ends with someone he loves as well. I can't describe to you how much this series has pulled at my heartstrings. When Power said that Denji was her first friend, even now writing that is making me well up. Chapter 91 till the end, I was constantly on the verge of crying. Characters grow and develop so much. Denji goes from being a very carefree, nonchalant person struggling with morality and the idea of having a heart and being a slave to someone who is able to break free of his shackle. Realize that he's more than someone's dog. He finds friends and even love. Granted, he only realized this love fully after the person died. While he does say he loves Makima from the bottom of his heart, he initially refused to be revived because he didn't want to live in a world where power was not by his side. So it leads me to believe that his heart truly lied with her after everything the two have been through. The relationship is very complicated though. as Denji is still learning the ins and outs of love and relationships, but I do believe that what he had with Power is something so wildly different from the idea of a relationship that he didn't realize that he actually truly loved her. Out of all the girls he met, it was a very premature love at first sight, but with Power I could see it being it was right in front of me this whole time moment. But that's for another discussion. Aki goes from someone who can't stand the thought of trusting devils, and he is against making friends with Denji. Later, he not only befriends Denji and Power, forming a family with the two, but putting his dreams aside of killing the gun devil so that at least Power and Denji could be safe. He also saves the angel devil, thus shortening his already depleting lifespan. This character is very selfless, and I have a video planned to discuss him in greater detail. Power goes from being a coward who tries to get Denji killed to, I'd argue, falling in love with him, and his companionship risks her life to save him in the final stretch of the manga, and was the push that he needed to willingly come back to the world and form a contract with her. She also learns to appreciate Aki and her fellow human teammates of Division 4, who all sadly pass away besides Kobeni. Hell, even Kobeni, being a background character, grows out of her fear for Denji, and not only tries to save him and apologize for trying to get him killed, but has a reluctant team up with him at the end. She also gave him the motivation to finally confront Makima. And on the topic of Makima being the main antagonist, from the moment she was introduced into the story, you could tell something was off about her. At first I thought her hands were just tied, and it was nothing personal considering Denji and Power are both devils respectively. But the deeper it goes, the more her shadow looms over everyone. Every time Makima and Power are in the same place, Power is constantly sweating and nervous, which leads me to believe that she's endured some sort of physical or psychological abuse from Makima. And the twist later in the series, that she is revealed to be the control devil, it blew my mind. And not only that, it made so much sense to me. Not the fact that she was the control devil, I didn't know a devil like that existed, but the fact that she was a devil. After all, she survived a gunshot chapters prior, and the fact that everyone besides Power, ironically enough, has an unhealthy, somewhat creepy love and dedication to Makima. She was a very good antagonist and kept the readers on their feet. Well, she kept me on my feet anyway. Speaking of the devil powers, the power system is also something to behold. It reminds me a bit of Jujutsu Kaisen's curses and a bit of My Hero Academia's quirks, and a lot of body horror. Each power was unique and added to the story in interesting ways, then in turn creating amazing world building. The entire tone of the series strikes me as Shin Megami Tensei meets Suda 51. Now let me explain. Shin Megami Tensei, or SMT, is a series well known for its dark, very human, complex storytelling, a mix and mash of normal life and demonology, and well, as for Suda 51's resemblance, look no further than the Chainsaw Man's cast and comedy. Suda is a master at using comedy during serious situations while still keeping the tone consistent, something I think some series struggle with. Denji in particular reminds me of how Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes behaves, very perverse and close-minded at first, but grows into a man by the end of his journey. Stay tuned for my No More Hero videos for more on that. Also, the fight scenes, they're beautifully drawn and choreographed, and they're very visceral and violent. There's no way I can describe Fujimoto's art when it comes to drawing fights and how well he's able to convey emotion and impact in each fight. Chainsaw Man is a perfect definition of using fights opposed to dialogue in some instances to help build characters and forward their development. A scene that comes to mind is Denji versus Aki in the final stretch of the manga, which is by far one of the best fights in the entire series. Also, Denji versus Reze is another good contender. And how could I forget Denji versus Makima? Oh my goodness. With all that out of the way, Chainsaw Man is a very compelling story, and I can't wait to see it animated. And I do hope MAPPA goes the JoJo route with its animation. Now what I mean by this is JoJo tends to alter the colors in certain fight scenes to give it a more stylistic and artistic touch, and Chainsaw Man strike me as one of those series that would do that, especially with its color pages. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn that bell so you don't miss any future uploads. This is Grimtoki, this has been Beyond Animation, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.